Hey guys, this is 101R Smith. I'm hoping that everyone had a great Thanksgiving and an awesome start to your holiday season. And as we start with the season, maybe some of the reviews I'll have in the next few weeks will maybe invigorate you or inspire you to get something for that special someone or that awesome bro or sis. But here we are. This is the Kotobukiya 1/12 scale Mega Man X from Mega Man X. This is a kit that I have been sitting on and debating about even getting for months because, you know, when I think 1/12 scale, it's not that big, it's not that intuitive, it's about the size of a high grade, but Kotobukiya is known for having some awesome detail, and as a Mega Man X fan back in the 90s, ultimately I couldn't resist, so here we are. I got this kit, and you know, Mega Man X is one of those games that if you're an 80s kid, you love Mega Man. If you're a 90s kid, you either like X or NT Warrior, because X kind of took the storyline from, or like the concepts of the original Mega Man, kind of brought them with some 90s edge to it, and also added his best friend Zero. And I remember my first game was actually Mega Man X5, and I just thought the cool side-scrolling shooter with platforming and the little text dialogues, especially with Zero, because it was like, when I was a kid, when I first played that first level, you played through both of them, and like X was like, oh, it's okay, but then Zero had cursing, and I was like, ooh, and as an 8-year-old, that just blew my mind and made me keep going because it seemed like it was darker and edgier than your average platformer side shooter. So that's a 90s memory that I'll never forget. But with this kid, it's just like to have him in model kit form be kind of interesting. We've seen so many action figures before. What would Mega Man look like in a model kit? And I'm surprised that Kotobukiya even took a try at it. So why don't we open up and see what we have here? All put together, and we have the X-Man himself. And I gotta say, this was pretty straightforward. The build only took about 90 minutes, and when all is said and done, you have a nice little kit. Now granted, we've seen a lot more vigorous and a lot more highly detailed interpretations of X, but this is as close to the source material as you're gonna get. Very clean, very straightforward. You're gonna get the 3 tones of blue and the white Mickey Mouse gloves. The face itself is its own piece that you just put together, which has just enough detail. And you're also going to get some clear pieces on the bottom of the feet, the sides of the visor, and the gem. And I gotta say, it was pretty quick and forward. There are some interesting building aspects, especially with the inside of the legs, but this thing's a bit more hollow than you would expect. It's still master grade, and it's still real grade, but definitely a bit more higher detail and a higher build structure than I would say an average high grade. Overall, X is a nice little kit that you can have in your collection, and overall just, it looks great. It looks as plain as you can get, which might bore some people if they want a more interesting interpretation, but if you want straight from like Mega Man X 1 through 8, this is where you want to go. Now, while he might look a little plain, let's see his articulation to see if his articulation matches that detail as well. As we do, we start with the head. The head is connected to a double jointed neck and can go 360 very easily. The shoulder can hinge out and the arms can go 360. However, I find that a lot of the problems that I have with this kit are the joints kind of pop out easily, so you might want to take it a bit slow and be a bit careful. You're going to get a bicep swivel on both the upper part and the lower part, as well as a double jointed ball joint. The arms can pop off very easily, might I add you, due in part to the X-Buster. The hands are 2 pieces slapped together, holding on with a ball joint and can go 360. The waist in the upper body has a double jointed waist. The legs have a slight hinge system in that they can go up and down. However, you're not going to get perpendicular here due to the setup and the polycaps in the legs. Legs also can't spread out that far, but you're going to get a very nice knee joint here. With the ankles double jointed, and you're going to be able to get a nice swivel here and there. Overall, the articulation on the kit is about average. It's nice for what it can do for its size, but it has some flaws that should be really addressed and looked at. Now we start with the accessories, and of course, wouldn't be a Mega Man without his Buster, the X Buster. It uses a lot of the same parts as the arms, which is why earlier you saw that the arms were able to pop out. They are both adjacent to the left and right, so you don't have to pick which side. And you're gonna get a nice little clear piece that goes in the front. X can hold it up with no problem. It connects right there through a polycap, and it looks pretty badass in action. You can get decent amount of poses on the ground with it, and it's just very simple. It is unfortunate that you cannot add an LED. That was one of the things I really wanted to do. However, the only person I know who was able to do that successfully was Otaku Builder, and he had wired LEDs. I want to put something akin to a Bandai LED in it, but I couldn't find anything that size or that power that would be able to fit into the X Buster without me having to break it apart every single time. So that's a little bit of a disappointment there. However, the X Buster works nicely, and it is an essential accessory from any Mega Man. Next, you're gonna get 3 different faceplates. Now, beyond the basic default face that you'll see here, you'll get a more intense face and a screaming face. They slap on pretty easily. You just pull the face out for the chin and then take it out, and you can put it back in with any of the 3 available faceplates that you'll see here. And they definitely add a lot more character into X that would be missing if you just had a default series face. The more angry face or the young face are definitely going to come in hand, more so a bit later with some of the add-ons that you'll see. But I love having great character in my model kits. Always appreciated.
I'm X! I'm a Maverick Hunter!
The big bonus with this kit is that you're going to get all of these effect parts, and they are going to come in handy due to the fact that Mega Man is known for having some pretty powerful attacks, especially a charge shot, a dash, and especially being able to shoot from the ground and in the sky. So these effect parts are going to come in handy. I will add that you might want to get a Kotobukiya stage effect part so you can have Mega Man on a stand, so you can have a little bit more diversity in what you're doing with poses. As seen here, you can get X to shoot out a great little charging up shot like a going Super Saiyan here with the effect parts. You get some LEDs in these, and you can really do a lot of great effects with these effect parts. But just for basis of standing up, they look pretty well as well. You can also get X kind of dashing or going forward. However, like I said before, you're really gonna want a Kotobukiya display base so you can get X in a more articulate and more expressive dashing than I can do here on the ground. But I think it conveys the idea pretty well altogether, having him be able to go in a supersonic speed. And then finally, you're gonna get the charge shot, which combined with another effect part can have on its own, and have X be shooting one of his bigger attacks up. Now, granted, it's not him with his super armor, but it still gets the point across pretty well, far. And it adds to that effect of being able to play as X, bringing the video game character into a 3D atmosphere. These effect parts go very far and wide in what that's able to do. It's something that I wish Bandai would do more with its model kits outside of the basic beam saber effect parts. It would be really cool if they brought that into the model kit form. My final thoughts on Kotobukiya Mega Man X is it's a good kit, but it has some flaws that are glaring and you can't ignore them. For starters, as you've seen with the articulation, the arms and the legs happen to have a lot of problems staying locked in together. Now, to be fair, it might just be my kit, but the arms and the legs shouldn't pop off that easily. I know that they try to add the ability to take them out because they want to add more armor to it, akin to the actual games, but structurally, it's not really needed, and it kind of adds a bit to looseness. The hip system on the legs don't quite work out. You're going to be struggling to get out perpendicular motions and angles. You're going to have to be a little bit more patient with that and more thoughtful on how you want to move the legs, because honestly, sometimes with the ground poses and the more expressive poses, it felt like the kit was trying to fight me. The color separation is actually pretty great, and the majority of the runners in this kit are undergated, which is a bonus. However, for the more advanced builder, you're going to be dealing with some very noticeable and very glaring seam lines that are going to be hard to ignore, and getting them to fix, you can fix it if you had some cement or if your goal is to paint it up, but because of how the joints work, you're going to have to pick out, you got to make sure the joints are great first before you slap those pieces permanently together. So there's always these little bits of problems that keep popping up with this kit that keep it from being amazing. This is a good kit, but they're on top of the glaring problems, you're also gonna have the price point. This is a $60 kit, and this is barely bigger than your average high grade. That is gonna be a very difficult choice for any builder to go into and feel like they're gonna get their money's worth. Yes, great color separation, but 1/12 scale at $60, that is a hard choice for a lot of people to make. You can get 2 master grades even with that amount of money for something rather than something with a high grade size like this. So you're gonna have a lot of problems that you're gonna have to sort after, think, and make that conscious choice as a model kit collector on whether or not you wanna get this. It's a good kit. Is it worth $60? No. If you can get it on sale for $40, you should, but the other thing is also Kotobukiya doesn't really reprint, so they don't lose value as much as easily as a Bandai kit. So it's kind of like one of those, if it's there, you gotta make a conscious choice to get it, and you gotta pray that when you get it, it's on a sale. So just to add up, it's a good kit, but there's some problems that need to be fixed. But I will admit that very soon he will not be alone if you catch my drift. So I am 101R Smith, and I will see you later. Peace.